Good morning, children, and welcome to the online session of English Literature of Class 7. We were doing the literary devices of this poem, The Road Not Taken. We had done first two stanzas and we were left with the last two stanzas. So let us complete it. In the third stanza, the same rhyme scheme has been used, children. A, B, A, A, B. I told you how to find out the rhyme scheme. See, the last word of each line, look at it. The last word of this line is lay. It is rhyming with day and way. So this is A, and A. Black is rhyming with back. So this is B. Okay. So this is how it becomes A, B, A, B. Alright. Now what is the other literary device that is used here? Visual imagery. Okay. Again there is a description of the forest. Alright. Here there is a description that in leaves no step had trodden black. Which means that in the leaves that was there on the road, no steps had stamped those leaves, which means that no traveler had ever walked on that path. So there is the description of this path. This description is the visual imagery. Visual imagery, the scene. Visual imagery is the scene. Now next literary device is onomatopoeia. What is onomatopoeia, children? It is the use of sound words. When we use sound words in poetry that indicate sounds, it is called onomatopoeia. O-N-O-M-A-T-O-P-O-E-I-A. It is one of the figures of speech that we study in English grammar. So here also this onomatopoeia is used and it indicates the sound words. Okay, so what type of sound words we find in this stanza? Here it is. Oh, now this is a kind of sound that is created by human beings. Oh, I came last in the race. So it becomes a sound made by human beings. It is a sound. You also use this sound while speaking. Oh, I missed my bus. So this is a sound made by human beings. Alright. So this type of any type of sound words is called onomatopoeia. Alright. So here also these are the rhyme schemes that has been used. The same rhyme scheme is used and the visual imagery is explained in the form of this leaves. That is the view of this leaves. You can see here in this description we get a view of that leaves not being stepped on by the travelers. Okay, and one more, and this last literary device that we can see, onomatopoeia. Alright, so next in the fourth stanza, what do we see? In the fourth stanza also we see the same rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme is the same. It has been followed from the first to the last stanza everywhere. Okay, here also see the last word of each line. Sigh is rhyming with I and by, so it becomes A. And hence is rhyming with difference. Hence is rhyming with difference, so it becomes B. So the same rhyme scheme, A, B, A, A, B. Same rhyme scheme is followed everywhere in each stanza. Fair is rhyming with where, there. Claim with same. Alright, here also. Would is rhyming with stood and could. And both is rhyming with growth. So everywhere the rhyme scheme is same. Alright, and it is the standard practice that is followed. Rhyme scheme is always the same in all the stanzas. So here in this poem we have found that all the rhyme schemes is it is the same everywhere all throughout the poem. Okay. Now the next poetic device that is used here is repetition. Two words are repeated, ages, ages. See, when repetition means when two words or more words are repeated, two or more words are repeated. So in the last stanza, this is the word that is repeated twice, ages and ages, and it means it emphasizes on time. It means time. It lays the importance on time. It emphasizes on time, which means after many years, somewhere ages and ages hence means after many years. After many years. Alright. Now next. Next literary device is symbolism. See, what is symbolism? When one thing is used to represent some other thing. So I told you in this poem that one thing is the road. It is the road. Alright. Here also it is the road. Two roads. Okay. Now this road represents the options that we have in life. It represents the options of life. Okay, so this road is the symbolism. It is used as a symbol in this poem throughout. Okay, so here we end the literary devices here. Okay, we have finished it, and now we move to the question answers part that I will be giving you in a written PDF format, and you will have to write and learn it. All the question answers you will be getting it, and you'll have to learn it. Alright, so now we'll come to the next chapter, which is very interesting. Open it up. So this is the story itself. It's a chapter named Big Brother. So, Big Brother, who has written it? It is written by Munshi Premchand. It is written by Munshi Premchand. Turn to the last page of this chapter. Here it is, Munshi Premchand. Now let us read about this writer first. Munshi Premchand, 1880 to 1936, was a versatile novelist. He was a versatile means very talented novelist, short story writer and dramatist. He is considered to be one of the foremost Indian writers of the early 20th century. His works include more than a dozen novels, around 250 short stories, several essays and translations. Now, Munshi Premchand was a very famous novelist. He also wrote short stories, and he also wrote dramas. He is considered to be one of the foremost Indian writers. So he was, this writer, he used to write early in the 20th century. His works include more than a dozen novels. So he has written more than 12 novels and 250 short stories around. So you can think how the type of talent he had. Several essays and translations. So he has done so much work in his life. Munshi Premchand was known for his interesting storytelling and use of simple language. So this man Munshi Premchand, he used to write interesting stories, and his language was very simple. Some of his more famous stories are Prem Ashram, Rangbhumi, Kafan and Atmaram. So these are his famous stories. Godan was his last novel. So this you must remember. Godan was his last novel. He wrote it during his last time after writing this novel, he was no more. He wrote this novel for the last time in his life. Okay, and is considered to be the finest novel, Hindi novel of all times. So Munshi Premchand was a Hindi novelist, and he used to write great stories. And Godan was his last novel. So now we will move to the story Big Brother. So let us read. There was an age difference of 5 years between my brother, my big brother, and me. However, he was only 3 years senior to me in school. Both of us started school at the same age, but my brother believed in taking his studies slow and steady. Since he wanted to lay a solid foundation, he took 2 to 3 years in each class to do complete justice to his studies. The foundation, after all, should be strong for the edifice to endure. At that time, I was 9 and he was 14. He had the right to supervise and instruct me, and I was expected to abide by his orders without demur. Now, so this story is being spoken by the person himself. Okay, it's a narrative story. Narrative story means it is being narrated by someone, it is being told by someone. Okay, and the one who is telling the story is the younger brother. Okay, there was an age difference of 5 years between my big brother and me. So this smaller brother, he is saying the story about his big brother. He says that there was a difference of 5 years. His big brother was 5 years older than him. But he was only 3 years senior to me in school. He says that although he was 5 years older than me, but he was just 3 years senior to him in school. Both of us started school at the same age. So he is saying the story that both the brothers, both he and his big brother, both of them started their school at the same age. All right. But my brother believed in taking his studies slow and steady. Now he says that, he goes on to say that my brother, he believed that he should move slowly in life, move slowly in his studies. He always took his studies in a slow and steady manner, since he wanted to lay a solid foundation. So here in this picture, this is the story of the big brother, and the younger brother is saying that his big brother wanted to put a strong foundation in his education. He wanted to put a strong foundation. He wanted to put a strong foundation in his education. Okay, so that he would become a more strong person, since he took 2 to 3 years in each class to do complete justice to his studies. Now here in these lines you would know what he actually means. This younger brother, he says that his elder brother, his big brother, he used to spend 2 or 3 years in each class. He used to fail in each class 2 or 3 times every year, and it showed that, and it seemed that he wanted to put a strong foundation in his education, and that's why he is failing every year. Okay, the foundation, after all, should be strong for the edifice to endure. It means that the foundation of every building, edifice means building, the foundation of every building should be strong, so that the building will be able to stand strong for years. All right. So in the same way, his brother, his elder brother, he wanted to fail that was his reason for failing every year in each class 2 3 times. Every year he failed, and it was his reason to show that he wanted to build a strong foundation, to become good in studies, to build a good foundation for his education in the future years. At that time, I was 9 and he was 14. So this younger brother is saying that at that time he was 9 years old while his elder brother was just 14 years old, which means there was a 5 years age difference. He had the right to supervise me and instruct me. So he says that since he was 5 years older than me, he had full right. He was supposed to correct me. He was supposed to guide me. Okay. And I was expected to abide by his orders without demur. And he says that the smaller brother is saying that because he was an elder brother, I was supposed to follow all his orders without disagreeing. Okay. So now let us read further. My brother was studious by nature. Most of the time he would have a book open in front of him. So he says that my big brother was a very studious boy. You can see it in the picture. And most of his time was spent in studying books. At times he would relax by scrawling pictures of birds, dogs and cats in the margins of his notebook. I have seen my brother write a name, word or even a sentence up to 10 or 20 times. In contrast, I had no interest in studies. To sit with a book for an hour was an ordeal for me. So, this smaller brother, he's saying that at times sometimes he used to see his brother relaxing, he used to spend his time by drawing some pictures of birds, dogs and cats. This his elder brother used to sometimes spend his time drawing the pictures of birds, dogs and cats in his book, in the margin of his notebook. I have seen my brother write a name. So sometimes his elder brother, he used to write some names, some words or some sentence up to 10 or 20 times. Alright. So maybe he used to do that to memorize it. His elder brother used to write a name, a word or even a sentence up to 10 or 20 times. Why he used to do that? Because he wanted to memorize it. He wanted to remember it, to learn it. Okay. In contrast, I had no interest in studies. So his younger brother is saying that, he says that he had no interest in studies. He did not want to study. To sit with a book for an hour was an ordeal for me. He says that it was very difficult for him to sit for 1 hour, with a book. Alright. So now we will move to the next part. Given a chance, I would slip out of the hostel and go to the field to play marbles or fly kites with my friends. Of course, these acts of mine were met with great disapproval by my brother. His first question would be, where were you? So, his younger brother, he says that if I would get a chance, I would move out of the hostel. I would run out of the hostel. He wanted to run out of the hostel to play marbles. You know what is marbles? The small balls that are made out of, glass, you can say. Small boys, they used to play it. Today also, in some of the areas, you'll find little boys playing these marbles. Okay? Or fly kites. So his younger brother, he always wanted to run out of his hostel to play marbles or to fly kites with his friends. Of course, these acts of mine were met with great disapproval. So, whenever he used to do that, of course, these acts of mine were met with great disapproval by my brother. So, whenever he used to do that, his brother would get angry. Okay, he would not approve it. he would always ask his brother, his younger brother, where were you? All right. You know, in at our house also, you know, when we play outside or we come home late, what happens? You know, we also, our parents also ask us, our elder brothers also ask us, they ask us, where were we? So we also have to answer it. Now sometimes it becomes difficult to answer. So some here also his elder brother used to always ask him. He would always question him about his whereabouts. About his whereabouts. Alright. So next. It was always the same question in a similar tone, and I always had the same reaction, silence. I failed to understand why I could not tell my brother that I was playing. So his brother, elder brother, always used to ask the same question about about where were you? All right, this was the line that he used to ask every time whenever his younger brother used to go out and play, and his younger brother had the same reaction. He used to only stand in silence. He used to always remain quiet. I failed to understand why I could not tell my brother. So he never used to understand why he was not able to tell his brother that he was playing. Okay, my silence was like an acknowledgement of my guilt. So he says that my silence, my quietness was like an acceptance of my guilt. Guilt is something, wrongdoing, something that we regret doing. Guilt means something wrongdoing, when we have that feeling of regret within us about something wrong that we have done. Okay, so that kind of feeling, he used to have that. That is the reason his silence was like an acknowledgement of my guilt. So whenever he used to, he was asked by his brother about where were you. This was the line he was always asked, and his younger brother used to remain quiet, and he never used to say anything about that. And it showed that he had accepted his mistake. My brother would begin, if this is your way to study English, you will be doing it for the rest of your life. One cannot learn English so easily. You have to give your days and nights to master the subject. Even then, you would only acquire a bit of the language. Do you know even great scholars can't write proper English, much less be able to speak it? You should learn from me. I don't attend shows and carnivals. I never go to cricket and hockey matches. All I do is keep studying all the time, and even then it takes me more than 2 years in each class. How do you expect to pass if you don't study? You are simply wasting your father's hard-earned money. So this is the lectures or dialogues that he used to hear from his elder brother every time. My brother would begin. His elder brother used to say that this is how you study English. If this is how you study English, this way you will be doing it for the rest of your life. So he says that this is not the way to study English. One cannot learn English so easily. So he is lecturing his younger brother. You have to give your days and nights. You have to put a lot of hard work to learn English. Even then, you would only acquire a bit of language. So he says that even if you put a lot of effort, lot of hard work, you will only learn a bit of the language. You will not learn much of the language. You will only learn some language, some English language. Okay? You will not learn lot of it. You will only learn some part of it. Do you know even great scholars can't write proper English? He says that he is saying his younger brother that even great scholars, the great writers and the great people, they can't write proper English, much less be able to speak it. So he says that even great people can't write proper English, and forget about speaking it, they can't even write proper English. You should learn from me. So he's saying that you should learn from me. Okay, he's lecturing his younger brother. I don't attend shows and carnivals. He says that I don't go to watch shows and I don't go to this carnivals or the places of fests. You see now carnivals happening during Diwali, during these festivals, Christmas. There are carnivals now. There's this small, it's a very attractive place where we buy things, we eat food, we watch shows. This is saying that his elder brother is saying that he never used to attend any shows, he never used to watch, he never used to go outside his house, he never used to go for carnivals, and never go to cricket and hockey matches. So he says that he never used to go to watch hockey matches or cricket matches. All he used to do, he used to stay at home studying and studying and studying. And even then it takes you more than 2 years in each class. He says that even after studying so much, I'm not able to pass the exam, I'm not able to get promoted to the other class, to go to the other class. I remain in the same class, fail in the same class and remain in the same class for 2 to 3 years. How do you expect to pass if you don't study? He's saying that you don't study and how can you pass then? You're simply wasting our father's hard-earned money. He's saying, he's lecturing his younger brother, you are wasting our father's money by not studying. Such a scolding would inevitably reduce me to tears. I would feel low and think of running home from school. However, after an hour or so, I would gain control over my emotions and resolve to study hard. So, after getting such a scolding, such lecturing from his elder brother, he would definitely, start crying. I would feel low and think of running home. So after he's saying that after hearing such, this kind of scolding, I will cry and I would run from home. Okay, I would, think of running home from school. He's saying that after hearing this scolding, I would cry and run towards home. I would leave school and would run towards my home. However, after an hour or so, I would gain control. But he also says that after some time, I would also gain control. I would console myself and I would gain over my emotions and resolve to study hard. After hearing this kind of scoldings, he used to feel bad for some time. He used to cry, he used to feel like crying, he used to feel like running away from school, running towards his home. But after some time, he used to again gain his control over his emotions, and he used to resolve, he used to decide, no, now I will study hard, I will put my effort, I will do hard work. I like to draw up a schedule. I would leave out the word play from the timetable and write it thus: get up at the crack of dawn, freshen up, eat a snack and study from 6 to 8 o'clock, English 8 to 9 o'clock, arithmetic 9 to 30 minutes past 9 o'clock, history, then meal time and school. So after resolving to study hard, he used to make a schedule, he used to make a routine, and in that routine he used to leave out the word play. He used to strike off the word play. That play word was not there in his routine, just because he had decided to study hard. And in the timetable, what he used to write? He used to write get up at the crack of dawn, which means get up early morning, crack of dawn. Dawn means early morning. At the break of dawn. Freshen up means, freshen up, do his, went to the washroom and did his all, brushing up and everything. Eat a snack and study. So he used to say that he always used to decide to get up early to freshen up and eat his breakfast and start his studies from now. This was his routine. He decided to, this was the routine that he always used to make. And from 6 to 8 o'clock he had resolved to study English. And from 8 to 9 he wanted to, put his time to arithmetic. Now 9 to 30 minutes past 9. At 9 to 9:30 he used to study history, and then meal time. After studying history, he would take his meal. He would take his, he would take his meal, he would eat something, and then he would go to school. So this was his routine. This was what he used to write in his routine. Okay. After school would be geography from 4 to 5 o'clock. Grammar from 5 to 6 o'clock. Then a 30-minute walk followed by English composition at 30 minutes past 6 o'clock. Then dinner, translation from 8 to 9 o'clock. Hindi from 9 to 10 o'clock. From 10 to 11 o'clock was time for miscellaneous exercises and then sleep. So this was his routine. So after eating something, he made a routine to go to school. Now after school, again there was a routine for him. What was the routine that he made? After school, he would be studying geography from 4 to 5 o'clock. After that, he would study grammar from 5 to 6. And then he would take a 30-minute walk. He would take a break here, some kind of break. And after which, he would study English composition at 6:30. 30 minutes past 6 means 6:30. Then dinner. And after studying English composition, it was his routine to take his dinner, to have his dinner. Then after taking dinner, he would do translation from 8 to 9 o'clock. After that, he would study Hindi from 9 to 10 o'clock. And from 10 to 11 o'clock, he used to do miscellaneous exercises, different types of exercises. And after that, he would go to his bed, he would go to sleep. This was the routine that he had written, okay, that he wanted to follow. However, as we all know, it is one thing to draw up a schedule and quite a different one to follow it. So now here comes the truth. He says that we know that it is very easy to make a timetable, and it is very different or maybe very difficult to follow it. Okay, I could not follow it from the first day. So he is saying that although he had made the routine, he had made the timetable, but he was not able to follow it from the first day. The vast green playground, the cheers in the football field, and the speed and flurries of the volleyball game beckoned me irresistibly. Now, his mind was filled with some other things. He was more interested in games. There was a flash of that, his mind was filled with the view of the playground, the vast green playground, and the cheers of the football field. People cheering in the football field. And he used to get that view of the volleyball, volleyball flying in the air. And it was very tempting for him, and all these things came into his mind and it attracted him. Although he wanted to follow his timetable, study timetable, he wanted to follow the study timetable, but he was not able to do so from the first day because his mind was filled with the view of the playground. He was attracted towards playing volleyball. Okay, the moment I reached the playground, I forgot everything, my resolve, my timetable, and the books that strained my eyes. So the moment he used to play the volleyball, the moment he used to reach the playground, he used to forget everything, his timetable, his resolution, and the books, about the studies, everything. It was his passion to play football. Playing was his passion. It was the best pastime that he used to follow. It was the best game that that game was what he loved. It was his passion. When it was time to return to the room, I was always filled with dread. So now whenever he used to come back after playing, he used to fill with dread. He used to fill with fear. I would try to avoid him as much as possible. Whom he used to fear? The smaller brother. He used to fear his elder brother, who always used to lecture him. So I would try to avoid him. So he says that after coming from the playground, he used to feel scared of his brother and he wanted to avoid him, hoping to get away from his sermons and scoldings. He didn't wanted to hear his lecture that he always used to give some lecture, some sermons. He did not wanted to hear those lectures and scoldings. However, he always spotted me. Although he tried to avoid him, but his elder brother used to catch him. He was always caught by his elder brother. So the annual exams came and even this year my brother failed. So now children, I'll teach you till here. Alright. So this is the chapter that we were doing, Big Brother, and I have taught you till however he always spotted me. In the next class I will continue from this paragraph. Okay. And till then, you have to keep revising, keep learning all the word meanings and stay safe. Thank you.